And we are live. It didn't take that long this time. Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to talk about something really, really, really annoying. Elicia lost her channel last week. Now, we've heard of people losing their channels left and right. But in all fairness, to me, Elicia isn't that controversial. But obviously, the powers that be disagree. So I'm going to give the floor to Elicia to tell us what the fuck she done to get herself banned.
I was born.
I know it. It's that white privilege of your. And
you're a woman. You're a woman on the internet. There's no women on the internet.
Yeah.
No, you know what's sad about this whole situation is that the very people that I seek to protect, the very people that need the most protection, right? The minorities really are the ones that, and I'm talking real minorities, like people that are being drugged or held against their will, so forth and so on. Real, true, vulnerable people are the ones that are tricked into going against me. They're the ones that mass flag me. They're the ones that cry foul because, and I kid you not, I get more crap over, I will only say she and he. I'm sorry, people. That's just the way that I am. And I will not, if you're a man, even though you present as a woman, I will still call you a he and a she. I am sorry. I'm sorry that I'm going to do that.
I never understood that. Yeah, but my pronoun is zer, zigzag, whatever. I don't care. I made a joke video not too long ago.
Yeah.
That my pronoun will be what was it, master or something? I can't remember. I made a video about it anyway. But
there's like 94.
Sorry?
There's now 94 pronouns.
No. There are way more than that.
No, I'm saying 94 accepted, right? So there's 300. There's about 310 genders accepted, 94 accepted pronouns, and then I think 38 sexuality.
But they didn't even. They should have accepted master as pronoun, but never mind that. The thing is this, though. You know me as Modwain. When we talk, you talk to me like, hey, Modwain, or hey, whatever.
Yeah.
But when will you ever use my pronoun in a discussion with the two of us?
Never. You only use the pronoun
that's
you.
The thing. So they are fighting about something that they will never hear anyway. Well, my pronoun is xer. Okay, but I'm not going to use your pronoun, am I?
Yeah.
I'm also not calling you he or she because that's third person. I'm not going to talk to you in the third person. That's rude.
Yeah. Well, they could make a point of it that in a classroom or a professional setting, you might say he or she, but you could work around it by just always using the name, always use the first name. It's a workaround, though.
Work around it because I'm really sorry. If you want to be called he when you're a woman, or if you want to be a she when you're a man, I can go that far because you feel like the opposite sex, something that actually fucking exists. But if you have your fantasy, whatever it is, it's not my problem, and try not to be judgmental, but I'm not going to wake my way around it to always remember, with him I always need to say his name, James or whatever, because he'll freak out that I didn't say a word that didn't exist. Fuck you. The worst part is that it's not even helping people. The people who already have these claims, despite that those are true bullies and those people are good. But if you believe you are a bloody fucking unicorn and everyone will clap that you are a fucking unicorn, well, I hope you don't think you can fly. Because people also clap and say, yeah, you can fly, go on this, very high building and fucking jump. Because yes, surely you can fly if you believe that.
Stone, are you using Modwain's mic? Because you're very low.
Using my mic. This is not even talking towards him.
Closer to him.
You actually need to talk towards the mic. That will help. Anyway, Elicia, you lost your channel. Did YouTube, by chance, be kind enough towards you to tell you, okay, my dear, this is what you did?
No, they didn't even give me a chance to defend myself. So everybody saw that red little thing that just said blah, 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 nothing. So I submit the appeals, right? I submit the appeals form. And you have to defend yourself. This is what's funny because it's happening right now, right? I had to defend myself over what? I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't know what video pissed them off. I don't know what I can do. I mean, they didn't even give me a chance to take down a video, nothing. So I have to defend myself. Shit you not. Defend myself without knowing what I did to piss them off. And I submitted the form and it rejected immediately and said, because of you've grossly offended, you've lost your appeal and you cannot appeal again.
Was it offended? Wasn't there something about spam or?
Yes. Like there was spam. Like it said, I don't know what it said.
They have an unspecified number of reasons. I think you linked me to it.
There was three unspecified. Well, somebody can just go to my damn channel and look. It'll still be there. Hold on.
No, I can't see your channel. Your own channel. There's nothing I can see.
I know, but the thing, whatever everybody's, well, maybe I.
Well, there is a link. There is a link, right? And it says this channel is offline or deleted or something like that. But there can be a link to a Google thing. Let me see. I find it. But I think the reasons was like either spam or deceptive advertisement, which was real fun because you're not selling anything.
Yeah.
What was the third one?
The third one is the one I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, now my video's it's completely gone. What the hell? Hold on. Let me try on this.
You are tired. Poor thing.
I was up really early, but the day turned out just fine. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, so I'm gonna look. I'm still subscribed to my own channel. Sweet. Oh yeah, it says against spam, deceptive practices, and misleading content or other terms of service violation.
Misleading.
The misleading content is what makes me think that it may have been that other video because of the commenter saying I was giving misleading disinformation by posting that dude's picture. I posted think about this. I posted a billionaire. He is a billionaire picture. And they were sticking up for him. They were defending him. The very same, like if he had stayed a white male and he's a billionaire, these very same evil that everybody says is the most evil on earth, they are now defending him because he got a boob job. I can't even think about that for a second though. Seriously, think about how crazy that is.
Oh, you want to talk crazy? I'm going to see if I can find the epitome of crazy. Where did I put it?
While you find that, Modwain, what makes you think that it was that video? Was that flagged? I thought you had 400 and you're just guessing here. That's that bugs me. They don't give you see, that's the problem. I mean, you can guess anything, and it's really bad because they say, we're putting you away for fraud, and then you start to think about what did I do the last 6 years that was could be construed as fraudulent. That's not good. They should really give a video or a list of video concrete points where they say there. That's what you violated.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. And that's why I couldn't defend myself because they didn't tell me. This is like it's genuinely crazy. It's like you've been dragged to jail and they go, defend yourself. And you're like, well, why the hell am I here? And they're like, you know why you're here. And you're like, no, honestly.
It's not my job to educate you. No, I'm not asking for education. I'm asking for an explanation.
I think that the whole point of an appeal is, in my mind, is first of all to ask for the reason, because they don't give a reason, and that makes me think that, you know, we had different theories what might have led to it, you know, like mass flaggings, you know, there could have been an attack on Elicia's channel or something, you know, could have been one person, could have been a number of persons, could also have been a YouTube moderator, one of those trusted flaggers, you know. Could have been one of them stumbling upon her video, but what I think it kind of smacks of, if they have a specific video, then they say it was that video. But if it's an algorithm that says, oh, there's 5 videos that I can flag, and you come over the threshold, then there may be a lot more unspecific, a lot more wishy-washy about it. And there were a ton of demonetizations, like Cognitive Thought was demonetized last week. I was demonetized 3 weeks ago. There was a lot of kind of stuff that looked like it's just an algorithm, you know, it's not nobody personal, it's just hitting hundreds and thousands of people, you know, and that's why I think you still you need to get to a human and they have to give you the reason, and then they might actually say, oh, our algorithm is fired.
And you know, it's an algorithm that misfired is a standard excuse, and they've been using it for almost a year now. It doesn't add up anymore.
Oh, whether it adds up or not, it may be a way back in, because like AIU, he was talking to Trusted Flagger, who's not online anymore, and he said he got his channel back, you know, at least for a while until somebody else flagged it again. But I think.
By the way, Elicia, Rumpel is trying to say hi to you.
Mm-hmm. Ron Paul.
Hi, Rumpel. How are you? Did you go? You subscribed to my new channel. I need to get up my chicken video. That should be my next video. I'm gonna put up my chicken video, the one where I'm afraid of a chicken in my yard.
You know what really bugs me about your channel closing down? We were just about to start our 3rd live stream. I was really getting into it, and bang. I
know we were gonna have it really going. You guys, I want to give a shout out to Nick too. If you get a chance, it's like only a 3-minute video. It is so funny. He pretends to have a job at the FBI. It's hilarious. It really is funny. Nick's Radio, Nick's Radio.
He uploaded it a moment ago.
Yeah, it's really funny. I sometimes, you know, that's what I like about YouTube is you know, you have an opportunity to see a lot of different people and have like, so if your mood is like really shit, you can go find a laugh, and that's what's nice about it. That's why it sucks that they're being such ding dongs.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, I wanted to say is that if I am in power to basically, like in this case, to take your channel down, right? Well, with a lot of people, I think if I don't tell you the reason, it might stress you more. Logical. But also if I don't tell you the reason, just in case there will be too much of the shitstorm coming my way because I did it, you know, I'm basically can generate some story and apologize for whatever. I don't have to keep up with it anymore. But just the fact that they took your channel away, they didn't say the reason. You have to defend yourself against something you don't know what you did wrong. This is yet another thing when I said to my husband, hey, welcome in, you know, communistic Poland. This is exactly how it was for my parents and my grandparents, you know. And I compare it only to Poland. We didn't even have that bad, but it can't. It can and probably will get really dreadful.
Since you have practical experience, Sun, what's better to say I didn't do XXX or to say I did everything right? Because you'll have to force them into admitting what they actually, you know, you can't say I didn't do fraud back in 2002 when I went to this, when I bought this, or when I did that. Don't give them any detail. You say I did everything right. Prove me wrong. Tell me what I did wrong. I did everything right. Everything 100% all the time. And then they'll have to come up with something, and then you can say, well, actually, no. Because oftentimes it's just spurious shit.
No. But you talking about the system when they actually still care at least a little bit about how they appear in media and how they are seen by people. Totalitarian governments, which we are becoming, they don't care about this. Let's put it this way: in Poland, and we didn't even have that bad, like Russia had worse, right? But let's say it's easy for me to compare in Poland, obviously. If they wanted you to be gone or to be punished or whatever, there was no option for you, like, what's better to say, if I don't give them the details, if I will cooperate with them or whatever. If they wanted you gone or in jail, it didn't matter at all what you would say. So that's the thing. If YouTube is becoming really like, communistic government, really, and it doesn't really matter what you say. I cannot give you advice, because if they want you gone, they want you gone, and it doesn't matter what you say. We talk about such a weird propaganda that you can't believe it, and you are actually, if you understand it, then you're surprised you are able to be that twisted and understand it. So there is no advice. Basically, either you can show that you can win this thing, because in the end there will be maybe too many people talking about this. Maybe you will have help from someone, I don't know. But yeah, there is no what better to say. If you want it also based on how it was in Poland, no, that doesn't really matter, because in Poland, look, the problem is with this sort of thinking, totalitarian thinking, is that you didn't even have to disagree with me. Just me being afraid that you might disagree with me, or that you might say something in the future that is not in my favor. Just, you don't have to give me any proof that it will happen. Just me fearing that is enough for me to put you away one way or another. That's where it's coming from. So
if the rules get there that they say we want to prevent future hate speech, and that's why they'll have to spell it out, though. The way that I see it is that if you talk to anybody, an adversarial party, especially government, you give them as little information as possible and let the silence speak for you. That's often helped. You let them speak. It's like when they interrogate somebody, they'll ask you, they might ask you a few questions, but what they basically do is they create silence so that you fill it with information. And I think you have to turn it around and say, I'm really outraged. I did everything right. What did I do wrong? And
you're misrepresenting reality in this case. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just talking about the reality when I'm talking on the phone with some government officials, and say, I want to get my text.
Government official is not automatically an SJW. It's not automatically an authoritarian. An authoritarian will not tell you what you did wrong, because he doesn't have to tell you what you did wrong. Merely stating that you did something wrong is enough.
And then you
give you an explanation. You know what you did.
The whole point of an appeal, though, is that you narrow down what you're in for. That's the whole point of the appeal. The problem is not that she's getting a personal response. I think she is getting an automated response. She hasn't even passed the first threshold, and they might ignore somebody who has only 400 views.
You're missing the point completely.
It's not going to work for her because she's a woman.
No. The point is this. I tell you, you did something wrong. You tell me, I didn't do anything wrong, prove me wrong. No. I'm the boss here. I don't need to prove you wrong. You need to prove to me that you didn't do something wrong. And if you cannot do that,
I
hope that you will find something that will, because if that won't happen,
But I understand that they don't spell that out. That's just a mechanism. And that's the mechanism that you assume, and then you start talking and say, well, could it be this? No, I didn't do this wrong. Could it be that?
Listen, I understand.
So what you can say, and positively you can say, I had 400 videos. I had always a good like to dislike ratio. I never got attacked. So you can measure it by the response that you got. You can say,
and then they will still tell you, what you did wrong.
No, they will not tell you anything until you talk to a person. That's the problem. If they block you and say we're not going to answer it, we're just going to send back the automated letter, then you haven't even got to any decision maker. And remember the link I sent you. Elicia, the guy who got his channel closed, and one of the things that he said, what's most important when you want to get it back is persistence. You don't ask once, you don't ask twice. You might have to ask a dozen or half a dozen times, So you have to keep sending them. And the problem is that there used to be a guy called Trusted Flagger. He's not online anymore, but there's somebody else, and I need to find out again. You need somebody personally to get interested in your case, which is hard when you have a small channel. But when you don't have over 10,000 or 100,000 subscribers, it's very, very hard. Because they say, oh, who are you? That's a big problem.
So what and I agree, because when my live abilities to live stream wasn't given back, I actually did contact a YouTube person, and they were really nice to me. So this does come as a shock. I am going to do everything I can, but at this point, it's fine, because I live my life to believe that there's always a reason things happen, right? There's always a reason. And quite honestly, there were old videos on there that probably, delete, fine. I'll just redo it. I'll make it bigger. I'll make it better. That's fine. But the problem is that it's harming other people that really, I'm not so mad for myself anymore, but as for other people, other creators. And if I think about the younger creators, everybody talks about bullying, right? And do you know what that would do to so my daughter, Raven, is online. She has her own YouTube channel. She has 700 YouTube videos. She's been on YouTube making videos since she was young, right? So now she's 14. Imagine how she would feel if YouTube did this to her. Do they even realize how many young people are creators on their website?
Yeah.
But how many young people they just won't be able to take it? Because I know how I felt. I'm a damn grown-up. Could you imagine you're 14 or 15? You've had a shit day at school. School fucking sucks, because that would have been, comparative to everything I was doing. And then all of a sudden you get up in the morning, and the only thing you have in your life that keeps you sane is YouTube. And they do that to you. What is that going to do to the youth of this generation? They live and die by YouTube. They live and die by YouTube.
And
if it is maybe I do need to tell YouTube that. Maybe I will refile a claim, even though they told me I couldn't. They'll reject it immediately. But maybe that's what we need to tell them, is these bots, they could harm little kids, since that seems to be the thing, right? Let's protect the children.
A question.
Sorry, because I wanted to come back something to what you said, because this is really important. Look, for the public and for other people, yes, watch everything you said, and indeed, basically, let people come with the reasons, of course. But my approach was for YouTube, or as I actually, when you asked me for experience, I assumed, how it was in Poland. So for YouTube, of people who decide, for a government, that's why I say it doesn't matter. Yeah, for a public, don't put yourself on the spot. Let them come up with something. Well, supposedly you did wrong. But what I meant real life was, in the end, that's how it used to be in Poland, and that's how it's starting to be in in Europe and the States. If they want some someone gone from YouTube, for example, right?
Yeah.
For people who decided, it doesn't matter what you say.
That's of course right. I mean, if they really have beef with you, if you're Alex Jones or you're a really big influencer and you're spitting into their soup, you're kind of, oh, that's detrimental to our business. Yeah, then it's a problem. So I think that if you're in the lower ratio where you don't have like 100,000 of users, then you're also not a big threat. But I wanted to ask Elicia about. You're not just locked out from. There's two aspects. One is the creative aspect of uploading your own videos, but there's another aspect, and that's YouTube as a social platform, right? Where you and that was actually my entry into social platforming. Apart from a little bit doing on MySpace, was actually YouTube. YouTube comments, and that was still around the time when reply videos were around as well. I didn't make any, but I found it a really great thing. So my question to Elicia is: are you also locked out of your whole account, so you can't even look at your comments or any other? It's not just you can't just not upload, but you can't actually get into your account at all.
Well, Elicia is AFK for a moment, so we'll have to wait till she gets back.
Okay, because if it's that, then it's even worse. It's like it's like Facebook. There's only one Facebook.
But
now.
The thing is, YouTube isn't an open platform anymore. It used to be a long time ago, but it's not. It's now basically a publisher's company, and they decide what they will and will not publish. And with that,
they started doing that.
No, they didn't. They not started doing that. They've been doing that for 2 years now.
I mean, it looks like they're doing it more systemically now. They're trying to do it systemically, not sporadically. As in, I don't like that bit, I don't like that bit. Because if they would do it systemically, then half of the content that's up there wouldn't even be up. So they're only starting.
Because YouTube used to be able to defend themselves. If someone put something really heinous on YouTube, they could defend themselves by saying, I'm sorry, it's terrible that it's on here, but we are not a publisher, we're a public forum.
So they feel...
But by removing stuff, they stopped being a public forum, and they are now a publisher.
They feel they are liable for the content.
No, actually they weren't liable for the content.
I understand
but because they are doing this,
it's a feeling.
They didn't even feel liable because it is part of their terms and services that they are not liable because it's an open forum, and because it's an open forum, everything is allowed.
Yeah.
But because they are now saying this is allowed, but this isn't allowed, they are no longer an open forum. So now they are basically a publication. And because of that, they are now liable for whatever is being put out there.
They always had some rules, like for instance, illegal content. They always had some rules that they would reject, but they would have a case when they say this is now a for-profit operation, and if your content isn't, it doesn't really matter what the content is, but if your content doesn't give us any value, you're attracting eyes, but you're costing us money, then go away or pay for the service. I could understand that.
No, that's not true. They don't have that right, because by doing that,
what do you mean right? They can just say it's for profit, and we can't afford it.
They cannot say that.
Why can you not say that? It's a private company with.
Oh Jesus! Let me say it before you interrupt me this time, please.
Sure.
They cannot say this because now they are proclaiming to be an open forum. Everyone is allowed to post whatever they want as long as it does not break the law. As soon as they start saying, but you can't say this, you can't say that, they are no longer an open forum. They are basically a publication house. And then they become liable for whatever is put out there. So if it's an open forum, YouTube is not responsible for what people post on YouTube. But by saying we are going to limit what people can and cannot say, they basically take responsibility, and because of that, they are liable. They are responsible.
There's one problem with the whole thing, that it works with the open forum to a point where it's feasible, right? Where you can say it's an open forum.
No, it doesn't. Because this is the thing. A few years ago, several huge companies, among which Viacom, were trying time and again to sue YouTube for millions of dollars. And every single time they said, oh, but people post stuff that is ours. Copyright belongs to us.
Right.
They lost every single case against YouTube because YouTube could merely say, listen, we're an open platform. We do not tell people what to post. We do not tell them what not to post, as long as they do not break the law. And this is why they won every court case against them. But what they are doing now, they are doing now, please let me finish. Okay. What they are doing now is by censoring people, they are no longer an open forum, but they are a publication. They decide what will and will not be posted on YouTube. And therewith, they are taking responsibility for everything that they allow.
You done?
Do you understand what this means?
I understand, but I think that you're making very overall statements. You know, there's some stuff, there's some limitations, like copyright laws and DMCA, for instance. The DMCA, and I don't know how many songs you have released on apart from the one that we worked on together. You know, I've released 50 songs, you know, on the channel, so I know a little bit about at least that part. That if you repost another artist's music, then they can make you take it down because you don't have the publishing right. And if the other person, or if they're in a group,
no. What they can do is they can.
You're the one that interrupts me now, but okay, go ahead.
I am because
I'm wrong.
Because what you're saying is simply not true. You can post the music of another artist, and they cannot tell you to take it down. But they can take away any money you make from it. And if you are not monetizing it, they can monetize it for the other artists.
That's not right. That's two different things. They can very well take you down. They can very well take you down. It happens all the time. If you don't have the rights, they can. It's at their discretion, and it depends on what kind of contract they have with the original rights holder. The original rights holder can force them to take it down. So, and they can force you to take it down. It's two different things. It's a sliding scale. There is instances where they say monetization, and that's especially applying to me where I'm doing parodies. You know, where it's not exactly the content, but they can very well force you to take it down because YouTube hasn't published it. You have published it on YouTube. You don't have the publishing rights, so you kind of it's one of the things that you say when you upload to YouTube, that you either have publishing rights or it's fair use. You know, but if you take a complete album and upload it, then they can force you. There's certain artists that do it. Look at Rick Beato's channel. He makes what makes a song great, and he has the multi tracks of these artists, and he analyzes. And there are certain artists, Beatles or whatever, you play 10 seconds of the track and you're gone. It's going down. It's going down. If it's a live stream, it goes down while you do the live stream.
Okay, wait, Raven, wait. Now, here's a question. No, I got it. But here's a question for everybody, because I do understand one aspect of this huge purge that happened, right? Because I listened to V for just a second talking about what he was saying. But do you know how many YouTube creators, what they do is they take someone else's work, they shorten it down, and then they pop it online and they monetize it. So they're not even like, like a real channel. They're not really creating anything. They're cutting down a thing and putting it up. And I think that's what they were trying to target, right? Target that, because they're paying two people for the same thing, basically, right? And maybe they did want to try to save money because they are not operating off of good funds. So I get what both of you are saying on all of that. But I think that these huge purges might be a way of them hiding and being able to target individuals that they do want to get rid of. But kind of like do it in the collective or in the fold at that time. I mean, the thing is that you have to remember these people are intelligent, and if they want to target you, they will find a way to get you no matter what. I mean, that's the sad thing about all of this.
Yeah, and I think the part of is also like getting, let's say, community. I know I not fan of this word in this case anyway, but you know, people on YouTube is basically getting them like used to it, the situation. This is what I thought with some channels. I'm really crap with names, so I'm sorry for that. But basically, they take the huge channel out, then they get like shitty excuse like, oh, you know, it was a mistake, sorry, blah blah blah, fucking blah. They put it back. Basically, if you have a lot of actions like that, that's, you know, like mistakes. People also in a certain communities, like people on YouTube, they get used to that, and it's thought like, oh, another silly mistakes. YouTube should get their act together, but it's done basically. For a lot of people, it might seem to a lot of people like just YouTube making an honest mistake, having not working bots, having, you know, not really being professional, but don't tie it to being political. So I think that's also, you know, I do it a lot of times. I apologize, I give you the channel back, and the crowd basically is used to the fact that it's happening. So next time I do someone I really want to have out, and a lot of people already will be like, oh, okay, he gets his channel back probably in a song. It's another mistake. And it's also like getting, even with the channels that weren't given back to people, it's sort of also making people like used to it, or another channel lost. Because, you know, obviously it would, if the, I don't know, 200 YouTubers or I don't know, 1,000 YouTubers that they don't like would disappear in 1 week or, you know, few days, that would actually create a different response than when you sort of preparing people, letting them used to it.
Like a false flag, if you think about it, because how soon will it be when people are sick and tired of hearing about somebody's channel getting deleted? They'll be just like, I don't give a crap. I don't care anymore.
It's happening all the time.
Exactly, because like, so I was kind of, so if you think of all the big people that got deleted, like Stefan Mollier, some of the other people, their fans went to work and they got them reinstated. But do you think those big creators give two craps about helping any of their followers that follow them, mentioning it? They don't. So they're also at the same time creating an us and them situation too. So it's us below 100 grand versus those above 100 grand. And why am I going to stick up for, do you think I'm going to stick up for Stefan Mollier if his channel goes down next time? I don't know. I don't know if I will this time. But so I think you're right, Shore. It might actually be something, because you see it in governments. Why not business? Business runs the world.
Yeah.
They want you to self-censor. That's one thing. Anyway, definitely want you to, you know, take it easy. But I think that they have many reasons for shutting down channels. You know, one of them is one thing about the Purge is that they simply dropping a lot of channels that don't bring them money. You know, and they don't care. They just tweak a little algorithm and then it'll hit a few thousand channels. And if nobody protests, then they tweak another little algorithm and then it hits another few thousand channels. You see, and they might even start targeting people who live stream, because that's extra. It's extra hard. It takes extra resources. It's extra cost. And I think that's one of the problems that YouTube isn't. That's actually what I don't dislike about the way that YouTube is financed at the moment. I would gladly pay for YouTube Red if they would guarantee me that the people I'm subscribed to are not kicked off. You know, I wouldn't mind paying $5 or $10 a month instead of paying for a TV license, because to me, like, YouTube is like TV. You know, it's the content I like. But if I pay them and then they decide to kick everybody that I'm subscribed to off the channel and they turn it into cable 2.0, then there's no point. The whole point is that they guarantee to remain neutral and let me watch what the fuck I want, let people tell their opinion. That's why they grew so much in my eyes, So anyway, I think that they need to solve that problem and maybe make a YouTube for adults, where yes, you can be annoyed, use at your own risk, you pay for it, and it's basically not censored. And
like cable TV, like true. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Or like Sirius Radio, the dude that I talked shit about and got me.
I mean, one way I could imagine YouTube making a bob and getting out of the whole problem is if they franchised, if they had if they said that, okay, we franchise a streaming channel, you can rent it, you get your own domain name, and you obviously have to charge people for the service, but it's like YouTube. It has exactly the same feature set and everything, and people who are on YouTube can promote it, so that they can go send the traffic over to the other side. Then you pay for the bandwidth, but Google hosts it. They're just like literally an ISP then, and they completely step out, and you have a different company taking over the business side and turns it into a commercial kind of thing,
Well, yeah, that's a great business model, because you could, so let's say you're starting small. You say, okay, as a content creator, I'll pay for this channel, fine, $5, $6. I mean, I pay for my website. Yeah. Nobody pays for that. I pay for my own website. So I get, and it is freedom. Well, and that pisses me off too, though, because I can't upload videos unless they're from YouTube on my website. I got to figure out a way around that crap.
But it's a good point about the free as in freedom. I mean, that's what people still have to learn nowadays, that they think that all software is free as in beer, but it isn't the case. I mean, I'm in the open source community, which at the moment is kicking up another stink because Linus Torvalds was kind of messing with the code of conduct, so he had to retire. It's a different story, but the thing is that you can definitely make money in the open source community and still write free software, and that's free as in libre, as in like freedom. It just means that the way that you publish the software is open, and you don't own it in the sense that it's like a patent and nobody else can create something else from it, and it's not you're not penalized if you change the code. Let's say I publish a piece of software and it has a bug or it has a problem or maybe a feature is missing, then you as a user are allowed to change the code and adapt it to your needs. Or you can give it to your neighbor who has the technical knowledge and they can adapt it for you. Now, that means that's basically the thought behind free, and the licenses are trying to put that into the DNA of the publishing process. That when you publish under, let's say, GNU 3 or GNU LPG 2 or LPG 3, which is the published license, it has to be republished under the same license. It's called copyleft, okay? But that doesn't mean that it's communist or not capitalist. You can still hire and pay a guy to make the code better. You can still release software and get paid for licenses, for the service of maintaining the code, fixing the bugs, and adding new features, which you may be the specialist in because you're really good at it, and nobody else knows the code as well. So that's the way that I work. That. I completely release my software completely open source, and then I add a few features that are called premium features. I bake them in and say they're only accessible to people who buy a yearly license that supports the software development. That's the thought behind it. The good thing about the yearly license is I have to keep writing new features. I have to keep make it better. I have to keep fixing the bugs because otherwise I wouldn't get the license renewed at the end of the year. They wouldn't just pay for it again. So that's the idea, And what's really nice about it as well is that I even let the free users use the premium license, the premium features, and I just put a little bar at the bottom that the feature you've just used is a premium license. If you want to use it permanently, please consider buying a license. So they can actually try out the premium stuff, and it's maybe 5% of the functionality, so they can completely ignore it and not use it at all. I kind of like had the idea from QuickTime, which was they had this thing that you had a free version of QuickTime. Does anybody remember QuickTime? It's playback by Apple for videos, and you had all these features.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, it took me a minute.
Features in the menu, right? And you had a lot of features that had a pro beside it, and you can use them. You'd actually have to buy a license and get the pro license to use those features. Let's, for instance, maybe you were viewing an MP3, you were listening to MP3 or something, and you wanted to save it as WAV file. That was a pro feature. So if you wanted to kind of download something from the web and then save it to your hard drive, you'd have to pay for the pro version. So, but that wasn't.
You're everything you're saying. You're giving us a wonderful solution, Real Raven. You are. I'm just going to interrupt because it's like my mind is going to explode because I'm thinking, what if the reason YouTube is going downhill is because they have idiots in charge? Like somehow they hired the wrong people, because everything you're suggesting makes perfect sense. I mean, so we have either ideologues or we have idiots, or we could have idiotic ideologues, which would be like massively scary.
We don't have idiots. We have ideologues, because when you see how some things were implemented and when you actually look back how things happened, to me those things were planned and were carefully put there. I mean, look, even about this is something Raven used a few minutes ago. They want us self-censor, and they achieved that with every single YouTuber, actually, because even people who fight censorship and who are for freedom of speech, how many YouTubers, again, I'm dreadful with names, I'm sorry, but, ever so often I hear YouTubers saying, well, I cannot say that, and he leaves it in people to actually realize what he wants to say, but he's not saying it and saying, because otherwise I will get this video flagged and taken down. So even what they achieved, that even people who speak for free speech, who hate censorship, they are actually admitting to censoring certain stuff, because otherwise they will not have this video long on YouTube and they want to reach masses. But that's the irony.
So
even they are censoring themselves.
Now here's the question, okay? So I've been on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that's so old I can't access it, right? I signed up, like, I think through Hotmail or something. But so the question is, at what point did they turn social justice? Because they always, in the beginning, they always censored certain videos, and we don't need to go into what they are because it's not relevant. But it wasn't until when, because the CEO chick, oh goodness, I'm sorry, I gotta take this. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Okay. Modwain, I didn't want to shoot you down completely. I think that you're right in a lot of points, but it doesn't really help Elicia or anybody who wants to get their channel back. And there are people who getting their channel back still, so you have to hold on to that.
That is true. And I know it doesn't help anyone, but this is the thing. And I think this is what we need to do to fight back. It's not, well, obviously we can ask them politely, and we can ask them again, and we can ask them again. But at a certain point in time, we need to realize that what they are doing is discrimination. And now, this is the thing. We were talking about this pre-stream, so I'm going to go into it now. Because people were talking about, but this is against the First Amendment. And the thing is, it's not. Or rather, it's not really. Because the First Amendment protects from government censorship, but not from censorship in itself. So if we start talking about, we need to fight this because of the First Amendment, first off, not every country has a First Amendment. And second off, the First Amendment doesn't apply. What does, however, apply is the rule of law. It's illegal to discriminate. And that's what this is. So, this is why I was hoping to bring that up, because I know...
Well, that's a good point. I mean, what could you? Well, Elicia's, you know, what's the best way to bring up an accusation for discrimination? You know, it's very easy to say, "Oh, you're discriminating because of my sexual orientation." And I know that, like, trans people tried that defense. You know, when a lot of trans channels actually were being closed down in 2017, if you remember. You know, that actually trans people complained about their little channels going down shittery.
Obviously, because they the thing is that feminists and social justice warriors advocated for a lot of rules to crack down on certain things, and because of that, they thought transgenders would be helped, but in fact, transgenders themselves got kicked.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with discrimination. As soon as we're going to try to tell people what they can and cannot say, we are going into a very slippery slope. And I'm going to tell you, you're not allowed to say certain things, but I'm still going to use those things you're not allowed to say. So I am going to be the one that's going to be banned.
Yeah, it's just what I think that what a lot of people in the public don't understand is that discrimination is it's a universal principle, and they only know a few allowed kind of groups that are allowed to bring up discrimination and others not. You know, for instance, you can say I'm discriminated against because I have a dark skin color, but you can't say it when you're white. And I think that when you're getting into the whole political opinion discrimination, that's probably the hardest one, because they can say, well, why do you want a fringe opinion to be protected? They don't understand that it's a universal principle. They just think it's okay. There are certain protected groups, and they can complain about discrimination, but you can't complain about discrimination if you're alt-right, for instance, or if you're Alex Jones or whatever, you know, or if you're flat earther, you know. Let's say flat earther. Let's take that, you know. It's a complete fringe idea, you know. Oh, it's been proven it's bullshit and whatnot, you know. And you're a flat earther, you know, or maybe you're a what's it called, Westbury Baptist Church, you know. You're one of those, you know. And it's a fringe opinion, and they don't understand that that's also an opinion that has the right to say that you can discriminate against, you know. And the question is, does the law protect protect those groups against companies? That's the question. Does it?
No.
I honestly don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Not by the First Amendment. But it does.
No, I'm not talking
about discrimination. Yeah, because discrimination is illegal. And it's
I thought it's only discrimination based on certain traits, you know.
No. This is a mistake people always make, because people always like to pretend it's discrimination on a certain base. And in some countries, they will tell you discrimination on sex, age, religion.
Yeah, exactly. The laundry list, you know.
Yeah, the laundry list. But that laundry list is examples. It's not a limitation.
Well, yeah. So what you're saying is the examples for a principle, and the principle must apply. If it's a good law, then it's basically based on principles, you know, as in just groups, you know. But there's also this other retarded. I don't know if it's retarded, but there is this argument that you can't complain about discrimination if you're member of a majority. So if for some reason there's like 80% whites in a city, then they cannot complain about laws that discriminate against them because they're the majority, and that somehow then it doesn't hurt them because they're the majority. I don't know. It's a really kind of weird thought that you think that, oh, it doesn't hurt them because they're more. You know, it's you would think that no, it's just hurting more people, but it's still discrimination.
Sorry.
You know?
Sorry.
I think thinking... that the majority of people think that only minorities are protected. That's it. Sorry.
That's not what discrimination is about. Discrimination doesn't say minority or majority. In all fairness, if we look at the Western world, I don't want to be rude, but the majority is being discriminated against, not the minority. But discrimination by law is illegal, and that's the argument, and that's the fight we need to fight. And unfortunately, if we look, for example, in Europe and in the UK, we are losing that fight because no one is taking that fight to the judges, and the judges are abusing the system. But the same is true for America. But what happens in America, a lot of people are calling out for the First Amendment. But the First Amendment does not protect the citizens against discrimination from other citizens or companies. It only protects against the government.
No, but no, see, and this is what I've been trying to question overall, because I was just talking to my friend in California, the lawyer that's like hardcore. But if I were to say discriminate and not allow a Black person into my store, that's illegal because it's a constitutional right. And what does the Bill of Rights say about freedom of speech? It just says it says that the government, right? The government can't.
The government can't. But so the protection of freedom of speech is against the government. There is no the First Amendment does not protect your freedom of speech on companies.
Well,
what protects your freedom of speech on companies is the discrimination aspect of it. If you're not allowed to have your freedom of speech, that means that your attitude, for whatever reason, is discriminated against. That's the angle we need to attack them with, not the First Amendment, because the First Amendment only applies to government.
It just says that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
Yeah. And religion is everything.
Well, and you're right, because so it says that they cannot make anything, the right to bear arms cannot be infringed, but private property says, no, you can't bring your gun in here. So they really kind of screwed the pooch on our amendments, didn't they? This is something, well, I mean, it is something to note. So when America crumbles and we rebuild it from scratch, what we need to do, what we need to put is like the First Amendment will say Congress shall make no law, blah, 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 blah. And any establishments, well, but then at the same time, you don't want, if you think about this, so you're at a Mormon church and then you have a bunch of people come in and protest your church. I mean, that's not cool either.
No.
So
I can understand that. But if you have a public forum and you're going to push people away from your public forum because you do not like what they have to say, you're no longer a public forum. If you want to stay protected as a public forum, and trust me, YouTube wants the protection of being a public forum, they have to allow people on there. As soon as they start censoring people on their public forum, they are no longer a public forum, or they are discriminating against people for their political or personal opinions, whether it's sexual, racial, ethnical, whether it's right or wrong. All of that isn't interesting. Are they discriminating against people having certain opinions? If the answer is yes, they are no longer a public forum.
But I think that's the one where I still have to ask you, citation needed. Where does it say now in the YouTube official documents or wherever that it's a public forum? Where does it say that? You know, we assume that it's that because it worked like that. But is it that?
It's their main defense for the last, how long have they been going on? Since 2006, I think 10 years. Their main defense is we're a public forum. We're not telling people what they can or cannot post on here as long as they don't break the law.
Yeah. There does have to be. Well, what I would like to see, so there are certain law groups that will work towards certain things. We just have to find, I'm sure there's a law that can be used. You just have to find that particular law that can be used. Right?
Yeah, but it's not the First Amendment. It's anti-discrimination laws. That's the laws you need to apply. And the thing is, where in the terms of service is it said that they are allowed or are not allowed? Have you read the terms of service?
Can I ask you though?
They say that they can. It says in the terms of service, it says they can delete you for no reason at all. It's clear as day. It doesn't matter. They don't even have to have a reason. They could say, I didn't like her fucking face and just delete my account. It's basically, they're using, this is what I don't get, okay? So they're California, right? Aren't they based in California? shouldn't that mean that they have to follow California laws? California has some really screwed up laws, right? They just passed that sexist thing. So then maybe what we could do is use their own crap against them and say, well, there's not as many female creators. Therefore, you were discriminating against me because I'm a female. This is a sign of...
You could also say they're ageist. You could say you're in a certain age.
Yeah, I am.
There is one thing you said, Elicia, because a moment ago you asked, is it the problem that we have ideologues or we have just idiots, right? And now you said that I'm lacking now English words. The policies that are written, like they can delete you without giving a reason, right?
Yeah.
So look, they say basically, first they defend themselves like, hey, we are just a public platform and we're not deleting people for what they're posting unless they break law. But they thought through to put in a policies to begin with, hey, I can remove you for whatever fucking reason, which I don't have to give them. So that points out that those are not just idiots. That would point out that there is something more maybe behind it, that there is something was thought through. They're making such a useful thing as to say, hey, you can post as long as you want, and as long as I'm okay with what you're posting, and I don't have to tell you the reason why I'm not okay. You know what I mean? So they're not idiots. They did protect themselves.
They are very intelligent, and that's what's most dangerous is an intelligent ideologue. Even my friend, so everybody knows that UCLA used to be the big be-all, end-all in America for free speech. I found out they sold out like 15 years ago. So I thought up until like 3 years ago they were fine, but apparently 15 years ago they sold out. So you don't even have, even my friend says you don't, everything is so screwed up right now that we don't know where to begin and where to start. And that's why I think it's great that we all come together, but there has to be, the only solution would be, I'm going to find that Facebook group that all the people that were deleted, we can find their channels again. But I think at this point, the best solution is to not give up. No matter how many times they delete your channel, start a new channel. That's all I can say is that they're wearing us out. We need to wear them out.
Yeah.
It's time for us to be strong enough to wear them out. That's why I was very clear when I put together that video, the video on Talk Hard, is because there was a moment in the movie where this young boy was going to give up. Right. And he played that song that I was listening to. It was like getting in my head. If it be your will to silence me, then silence me. And then he was like, no, fuck it. I'm going to keep moving forward. And so we have to be stronger than they are. That's the only solution.
Well, we need to stand up. We need to fight back. One moment. Turn off your microphone, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, that's the thing. We're sitting next to each other.
Well, you were coming through well, though. You weren't coming.
I'm coming through twice. It's.
You hear yourself, all right? Sorry.
Yeah. Going back to what I wanted to say, the thing is, YouTube is fighting a dangerous battle. It's not just YouTube. It's Twitter. It's Google. It's Facebook. Yeah. And the problem is, people are being silenced of certain ideas, of certain ideologues, of certain ideologies, of certain concepts. These concepts must be planted in your brain as not true. It's cultural Marxism, postmodernism. These three things are true. Everything else is not. This is, for example, that President Trump is being told he cannot block certain people on his personal Twitter account because of freedom of speech, but Twitter can push all sorts of negative posts on President Trump that he cannot see the positive posts that are posted on Twitter because Twitter is a private company. And people keep believing this bullshit. It's not that Twitter is a private company. It's that they are not allowed to discriminate. And that's what they're doing. They're discriminating against certain ideas. They're discriminating against political views. They are discriminating against all sorts of ideologies. And they are pushing their own. It's not a First Amendment thing, but it is a discrimination thing. And that's the angle we need to attack them on. But we won't, because we don't like to be attacked ourselves, so we let things happen.
I think what's interesting is that you say there's a legislation. I think there is new legislation, and there will be more legislation. That it's mostly, even though there might be legislation that you can apply, it's mostly like a blind spot, for what's happening on the internet. It's like to the normie legislators, it is. They don't care,
But the law is quite clear on this. The law is quite clear on this. The problem is not so much that the law isn't clear. The problem is that we're not applying it.
Yeah, okay, that's what I mean. There is, I'm sure there is laws that you can apply, that you can transition into the internet, but people don't have the mind for it. They think, that applies to letters and telephone lines.
It's not transitioning it into the internet. That part isn't the problem, because if that part would be the problem, Count Dankula wouldn't be prosecuted for a Nazi pug joke. So discrimination over the internet, trust me, they have that packed down too. The problem is that they've decided that certain forms of discrimination are not discrimination.
Yeah.
And that's the thing we need to fight.
The blind spot, yeah. So
it's not a blind spot, it's fucking glaring at us all in the face.
Yeah, I know, but to them it's like they say we don't see it, and I know they may know that it's there, and they might jump around on one leg and stick one finger in one ear, but it's still, they can still say, well, we don't see it, sorry, we don't see it, So yeah, so you're right. I mean, you need to organize against that, probably as a group. I think for a single, there were some single people who kind of threatened, but there were big people like H3, that had some clout. For a smaller YouTuber, I think it's pretty pointless because it's too expensive,
It's amazing. If you can see that they destroyed InfoWars on YouTube, do you have any idea how much money they made off of InfoWars? And now they're sticker because
I think that was planned. I honestly think that was planned. It was. Well,
Alex Jones.
No, I think Alex is in on it.
Yeah.
I really do.
He's in on it.
And I can say that. I can say it. He's a conspiracy dude. He know. He know.
I have a feeling he came out of it stronger.
It seems too planned. But he does look like, I saw him. He does look like it's whatever's happening is wearing on him heavily, but it's a new kind of stress. Do you know how what's fun to do is look at a president when they come into office and watch how quickly they age. Whatever they're going through, they're under so much stress. And you can see it on their face. I don't know how even Donald Trump is starting to show signs of stress. Now, when I was looking at Alex Jones, because I love Alex Jones. I really do. I think, I know that he's controlled opposition, everybody. I know he's controlled opposition, but I still love him. And I love what he stands for, because what he's doing is he's teaching people how to stand up against the very thing that, he might be helping. And something has changed. Something, I don't know what it is, but something went from him being absolutely certain and sure of himself to he's second guessing everything. There's something completely wrong, because you can tell when somebody is really stressed out. Like, I was really stressed out a few days ago, like on the last stream. That's why I didn't want to come on. And that stress was getting to me, but it was all behind the scenes. So these people with so much power, I sometimes wonder if there's something more sinister going on with them.
No, it's not impossible. I don't think so, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know. Did you see, Alicia? Did you see the Faith Goldie interview with? Just saw it today with Alex Jones. That was fun, I thought.
No, I've been I got up at 5 a.m. and was out in the street, so I haven't watched anyone's video.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the only video I've seen all day was Nick's video. So
okay, I haven't seen
and
that.
it's probably why our friend is mad, because I'm sure everybody today thought I was ignoring them. I had a lot of emails of people trying to talk to me, and I came off like, and not to mention yesterday, I was like being a total royal bitch. Everybody, like, I was so rude. I was so rude to everyone. I sent as many apologies as I could remember to send, because I was like really short with people, because we all have our breaking point. But now today I'm worried, because then I'm coming off of being rude one day to complete my silence.
Oh no.
Okay,
I can understand.
I'm going to, because people keep asking, can we post Nick's YouTube thingy in the chat and whatnot? Nick,
in the comments.
Do you want me to post it? Or do you want me to show it?
You could show it. No, I'll ask Nick.
I'm asking Nick. He's there.
Yeah, he's on the chat, I see. While you do that, the Faith Goldie thing, did you hear about that? I think she's third in the polls. So, like for Toronto mayor, and they disinvite her, or they don't invite her to any of the official stuff, Very interesting.
Yeah,
But
I've been sending her stuff.
Have a chance. She might actually have a chance to win it, even without the mainstream media, while being completely shut out. That'd be a laugh. That'd be so fun.
Okay, guys, I'm going to interrupt for a second just to have an intermezzo. Do we want to show Nick's video? It's a little more than 3 minutes.
It's so fun. We should do both. Just do both. You guys will enjoy it. We need to have a break of all the seriousness. This is great, you guys. This is great. It's worth it. It's great.
Nice. We're
going to do it. Nick, you're going to be live on Modwain's House of Fun. Well, not you, but your video is. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I should turn on the sound. Sorry.
Hello, everyone. It is a good day to be me, because I have landed a new job, a dream job. It's the kind of career that strapping young lads used to fantasize about. I'm going to be a G-man, a Fed, an agent of the FBI.
Well, you've got the wrong outfit on. That's the Secret Service.
Oh. Well, let me get into something appropriate. Well, now that's nowhere near as cool. Oh, well. Now, why would such a prestigious organization hire a shiftless, struggling author like me? I'm not really sure, but I get the impression it's kind of a police academy thing. They've got some assignment that no real agent wants to tackle, so they'll hire anyone for the unglamorous work. Yeah, it's a desk job, but I was promised that it would be a vital investigation. Now let me check my computer here. I am one of the agents taking part in the Kavanaugh investigation? You mean we're actually doing that? I figured they just typed something up and claim it was research. How are you supposed to investigate 30-year-old crimes that may or may not have happened when you don't even know where they happened? Now, it looks like my job is to question people who knew Judge Kavanaugh in high school and college. Well, may as well get started. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm with the FBI, and I'd like to ask you some questions. You knew Brett Kavanaugh? Good. All right. Back in high school, did you ever get slobbering blackout drunk with Brett Kavanaugh? Okay, that didn't go well. Let's try another potential witness. Hello? Hello, ma'am. I'm with the FBI, and we were wondering, have you ever seen Brett Kavanaugh's penis? This is going to be a really long day. Have you ever been drugged by Brett Kavanaugh? Thank you. Would any of your vague recollections of the man include, say, indecent exposure or drunken sex? No, sir. I'm one of the rank and file FBI guys, the ones that Republicans say are respectable. Ah, good. So tell me, sir, if you could, just how long were you typically waiting in line after Brett Kavanaugh had drugged a co-ed? Hello? So, can you at least tell me if Judge Kavanaugh ever threw a drink in your face? Oh man, what a day. At least it's over. And they promised me that my next assignment will not be a new investigation. It'll be something they've been working on for a while. Oh, God damn it.
It's so funny. It's so great. It's great. And so I needed that video today because I'm so sick and tired of hearing about the Kavanaugh thing, and it was so funny. He did such a great job with it.
By the way, I better not see a community strike on this one, Nick's Radio.
Copyright infringement. How dare you talk shit about me?
Duplication. That's actually one as well, duplication, right? When you upload the same thing twice, that's something they can kind of do you for.
It's not really duplication because I have a lot of stuff before it.
I
know.
Some stuff
are you
behind.
like, are
It's
you,
a really good video though, to be honest.
is it monetized? Is it monetized? Did you monetize this, Modwain?
No.
You really should probably think about monetizing just for the algorithm's sake. When
I was monetized, but then they basically said, "Oh, you're not big enough," and I was like, I wasn't really monetized anyway because I think the last 40 videos I posted while being able to monetize, they all demonetized anyway. So fuck it.
They demonetized me because I'm not Rocker Ali, or maybe he's not monetized either. I don't know.
Yeah, but it helps the algorithm because that's how they first started soft censoring. One of the very first YouTubers that was really, really getting banned was Adam Kokesh. I know none of you probably know who he is. But so what they would do, they prioritize the commercial ones. So that's why it's hard, like when you get your channel removed. So now I'm back at square one, right? Can't monetize. I'm not big enough. I'm not going to be in any algorithm. So what I need to do is I need to create a video that is so like not clickbait, but big enough to get those numbers back up there again.
It's hard
I know what you
a viral one.
I need a viral video.
And the thing is, well, as I said, because they eventually, I'm too small to be monetized. Mm-hmm. But when I was big enough to be monetized, nearly everything I posted got demonetized anyway. And if you get demonetized, they don't show you in any search engines either.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing with the demonetized, you can still they still put advertisements on your channel. You know, at least that's
it depends on what kind of demonetization, doesn't it?
All right. Because, you know, when that's the case, then they obviously still, you know, if the algorithm thinks, oh, I can slap some advertisements on, then there must be some value in there for them, you know, some kind of value at least.
Yeah. So now when you advertise, because I'm thinking on YouTube just to be a smart ass, you know, do an advertisement for my new channel. But because it's not, I mean, it's expensive, but it's like kind of like a war. So I kind of want to do it. But you can choose to have more controversial. So if you're demonetized, but only demonetized to what is the term they use, to certain groups? I can't remember. But you'll still be able to get commercials, but unless it's age restricted. Now, some of my past videos, I age restrict myself. Like when I did my video on Kinsey. And I read from Kinsey's book, I felt it was my duty to age restrict. Kinsey is the piece of shit that started this pedophile wet dream that they're all normal and healthy and it's great. He's the one. He's actually the one that his institution where, you know, he used all. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to go around. Anyway, they're the ones that write up your kids' sexual education. Just a heads up, pedophiles are writing your kids' sex ed. So just throw that out there, people. That's probably what really got me kicked off.
True that, though.
Great. Now, Modwain, if your channel suddenly gets shut down, well, no, it's from the pedophile.
Well, that's the
Because
thing.
you talk shit
rules
about them.
over you. Figure out who you can't criticize.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick's right now. He's actually from, I think, the 50s. He's way back. He's during repressive times. And what sucks about Kinsey, honestly, is that had he not been born in America when everything was really repressive, because he was a closet gay. And there's nothing wrong with being a gay. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is because he was told that he was evil. Right. But he didn't think he was evil, which why would you think you're evil? So when he approached the pedophile, this serial disgusting piece of crap, he was vulnerable to the pedophile's grooming techniques because he himself was actually kind of like a child as far as sexuality went, because he couldn't express himself because he was in such a repressive. The United States was very repressive during that time. They were giving lobotomies and shit like that. Okay, so that's how repressive it was, and so it's kind of really scary. But
the Kinsey Report guy, is it?
Yeah, and I read chapter 5, and nobody ever talks about chapter 5. It's disturbing. I'll repost the video. I'll repost the video.
Have you seen the?
Yeah, I watched the movie.
It wasn't a movie; it was a TV series, I think.
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
I thought it was pretty brilliant, to be honest. I mean, the guy was getting corrupt later on.
No. Read his book. Don't go off of anybody's like.
Yeah,
that's
it's a Hollywood.
propaganda.
Obviously, it's a Hollywood version.
It's all propaganda. So hi, suit yourself. What's up? We got Suit Yourself, Ludicrous.
Yes,
I tweeted
it doesn't happen that I have YouTubers in here that are big, so I feel somewhat important now. Look, I'm just
because it means he has read my tweet. I tweeted it at him, just about like 15 minutes ago, because I know that Suit Yourself himself has successfully fought the censorship mills.
Yeah, Suit Yourself has helped me a lot. He's helped me a lot. He's mirrored a video of mine on BitChute. He's a really great guy because he does a lot of work like I do when we're trying to fight against these evil pedophiles, and so he knows that we really have to stick together because it is one of the most difficult subjects to talk about, and he's always been very brave and concise on what he talks about, and I share all of his videos and have really great respect for him, and he also did have my back, so I was really thank you, Suit. I appreciate it.
Suit, do you want to join in and talk along with us, mate?
That'd be so cool.
and indeed, Nick, thank you for letting me play your video, because right after I played your video, Suit Yourself is in the chat. So yeah, it must be yours.
Modwain, you're doing it wrong. You just have to DM him the link, then he hasn't got a choice. Don't ask him. That's the way you do it. There's the link. Jump on.
Suit, if you want to make I don't know if I have you on Twitter. Do I have you on Twitter? I don't think so.
Well, look at my last tweet. It's yourself at yourself suit. I think at yourself suit is the. Let me double check that.
He's not going to join in. It's okay.
Yeah, he might. At yourself suit. That's it. He's just lazy. Come on, don't be lazy.
No, listen, I'm not going to force anyone.
No, of course not.
I'm feeling happy that every once in a while big YouTubers join me. And in all fairness, both Elicia and you, Will Raven, are big YouTubers compared to me. So who am I to complain about?
Oh no,
I'm down to 100. Wait, I'm down to 100. What you talking about, big YouTuber? I'm back down to 100.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm at 105.
Don't count. Only your current subs count. I'm below 2K as well.
I reached 655 earlier this week. Not sure where I am now, to be honest.
You just have to make it less of an echo chamber.
No, you know what? all you have to do is you've got to you've got to crack the code, and you have to remember. So when you put out that big video, you better have said to subscribe to my channel before, or else they're not going to. Because I had quite a few success videos, but I never once asked anybody to subscribe to me. But I happened to put out that one video that went viral, and I said, subscribe to me. So
maybe I should make a piece of music for my channel, and just say, the last 20 seconds, anybody who doesn't subscribe is a cunt, something like that.
Yeah, suit yourself is right. It's not the number of subscribers. That is absolutely true. What it is, it is the quality. It really is the quality. I have to say that is true, because you could have, millions of subscribers and only like 200 are commenting, or even what's the point? Are you really getting your message across?
I do have a question for Soot, though. I'm sorry, guys. We were talking about censorship, but now we're going to go all the way to a different topic. Soot, I have a question for you. I hope you're able to answer it. What program are you using to animate your videos? Because I've been looking into doing stuff like that too. I've been looking into Blender because it's free, but obviously I'm not that good.
And obviously Paint.
No. Paint,
like everyone.
He's using 3D animated software.
So I'm
wondering what he's using and if it's easy to use, because if it's not, then, well, fuck me. But I need to try.
I think what he does is hilarious. It's fucking
Are you
awesome.
really only using Paint?
Microsoft Paint and Notepad. I knew it.
I somehow don't believe that.
I mean, either. Well, you can do the sketches in Microsoft Paint, and then you send it to an animation studio and pay for it. GIMP. Yeah, but I mean, you can't animate with GIMP, right?
No, you can't. Well, you can, but not like that. I've been looking into, what was it? Forgot the name. But it's a $200 program.
Toon Tracks or something. That's really expensive. My daughter used that for a while because she studies animation, But the subscription fees for these like professional animation programs are super expensive. The thousands. So.
Hey, I'm going to respond to Soot because he basically told me he uses Mufizu. Never heard of it. But can you edit the characters easily, or are you set to certain character traits? Damn, Soot, just join in, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like pulling teeth. This.
You can help a small YouTuber like me. I wouldn't know why you would want to, but you can.
We'll put your thumbnail in the. He'll put your face, your avatar in the thumbnail. Oh man. So yeah, Law.
He's probably tired. He's like in Australia. That's like, right? Is it Australia? Or is it New Zealand? Oh God!
Yeah, it's in the morning there. It's 8:30 or something like that. If it's Adelaide, if it's South Coast, I don't know where he is, which part.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they've got. Is it 3 time zones?
9 a.m. He just woke up.
It's like I need my coffee.
It's a bit early. It's a bit early. So I can understand that.
I'm trying to remember what the program was that seemed to be a good one too.
That's Nick. I want to answer Nick's question because I followed Suit Yourself, and then his channel was gone, and then wasn't there a Suit Yourself 2?
Yeah.
And now is this Suit? So then I found him again. But I just tweeted.
I'm sorry, I just received the tweet from Suit Yourself, and I can't share it with you guys. It's really
What?
Yeah, I'll oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know what is happening, but it is funny.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to share it anyway.
You can't share the tweets. And you mightn't have. I don't know.
Worst thing that can happen is that YouTube bans me too.
Then we'll have to like all go.
What was that? Oh no! Oh no! That's terrible.
Somewhat inappropriate. Okay,
oh, that's terrible. So much shit on Twitter.
yeah. But now I gotta figure out how to send you a private tweet.
Oh man. Yeah, I was kind of I kind of I didn't flag, but I didn't like one of the things that what's his name? The guy who always uses the all caps. What's his name? Evil Gunny. Yeah, he posted something on Minds, and I thought, well, you know, I don't mind a little bit of you know, nudity and not suitable for work, but when people's colons are spilling out, it's kind of too gory for my taste. So anyway, I can hide that, you know. I don't like that, you know. That's one thing I really dislike is gore, you know. I mean, fuck, just
what?
Like, I would actually count Goatsy. And that sort of like inside out kind of sexual stuff under gore, you know. You know, when you say organs that are supposed to be on the inside somewhere else, you know. Not for
I
me.
sent you a tweet, Suit Yourself, with the link. So if you want in, then that would be cool.
So on the Kavanaugh thing, by the way, did anybody see JF's stream? Look, that's where I spend my evenings, like watching this JF streaming about Kavanaugh. That was quite fun, actually. The way that if you push a woman against the wall, I do that every day. That is normal sexual behavior. Women want to be pushed against the wall. So good. Like, it's just like, you have said nothing that was illegal so far.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. So.
Amazing. Very funny. Very funny. Watch it.
Frat boys and stuff. I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen it.
It's just like he basically, like, what he says is that basically everything they say is that there's nothing, whatever they allege, there's nothing criminal in all that behavior, you know, whatever they bring up, you know, they're not, nobody says, oh, he raped or something. He was standing in a hallway with a group of other young men. That's suspicious. He was laughing. He was standing in front of a door. And these are all indications that he is a gang rapist, you know. It's just, yeah, but aren't there women who do that as well? Laugh in groups, stand in front of doors. It's just like, oh, and he was spotted in the vicinity of a punch bowl, so he obviously spiked it. They didn't see him spike it, but you know, just him standing there and handing out Dixie cups to other guests is already an indication that he obviously roofied people, you know. It's just so hilarious. It's just, and then you hear people like Riley Dennis saying, "Oh, there's so much evidence and there's so much condemning kind of things." But if you're not completely, like, if you're not born in, let's say, the 17th century,
political gamesmanship is disrespectful and a disservice to the process.
Not to mention the fact that he knows better. If a woman,
Sorry, that was my fault. Yeah, that was my fault.
Okay, I was wondering, because, you know, stop me.
No, considering what you were saying, I wanted to share something, and I wanted it to share it.
Yeah, find the right thing. I mean, a lot of the things that these women said. Oh yeah, you wanted to share that earlier. Share that.
I'm going to share it now. Then, okay, here we go.
Sort of political gamesmanship is disrespectful and a disservice to the process.
Not to mention the fact that he knows better. If a woman goes into a courtroom, any courtroom in the United States of America, and says, that man attacked me, that's enough. That's evidence. When the woman says it, it's evidence. Moreover, when it turns out that she's been telling people for 10 years or 8 years or whatever the number is, each of those prior consistent statements is also evidence.
Okay, I'm not going to run it more, but basically, whatever a woman says is evidence.
Yeah.
It's true because vagina.
But,
Okay,
you know,
so we'll tell YouTube that they touched me inappropriate. That's why they cut my channel.
Exactly.
I
They
need to be
made you
believed.
feel unsafe. They made you feel unsafe. That's
I'm
very important.
unsafe. I'm being attacked. It's all YouTube's fault. They just don't.
They made you literally disappear. They questioned your existence like every day. And don't forget, Elicia, you are stunning and brave.
That's right. I'm stunning and brave for standing up to the YouTube that touched me inappropriately.
That's so amazing. It's just that if you look at the evidence argument, actually evidence can it's also evidence when you say something that is what's the word, incoherent. If it's what's the word, you know, not restriction, what's the English word, Widerspruch, contradictory, right? So if you give contradictory evidence, then your witness statement can be thrown away. Basically, it's enough that you say one thing like, oh yeah, did you know anything about polygraphs? No. Did you ever talk to anybody about polygraphs? No, I didn't. And now they tweeted out some evidence that she was actually giving advice to another woman a couple of years prior on what is done on a polygraph test and how to behave and stuff. So she knew exactly. So she actually already perjured herself.
No,
so that is evidence,
you guys,
you know, it's just negative evidence.
One of my biggest videos was how to beat a polygraph test.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no. That's what I was thinking. What if it was that got me banned? You start questioning all these things. But yeah, I need to redo that video because it was one of my biggest video. It was my first video that went viral. Really, was how to beat a lie detector test. And
cool.
And then everybody was talking about lie detector tests. So it's just kind of weird. See, this is why Real Raven said, don't question it. You're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or you giving them ammunition to shoot you with. You know, that's the other problem. That's how, like the Russian KGB would work. That give you, you know, that start questioning you and then they'll give you enough rope to hang yourself. That's why it's bad to give detail. It's better to just accuse and say, oh, I did nothing wrong. Prove me different. Change my mind. You know, it's better. I know that might probably not work, but that's the approach I would try anyway. But yeah, if you redo that video, can I make the background music for it?
Is it going to be copied? Why do I need background music?
To make it more engaging.
Make it more engaging.
Have you seen what I posted, the Bane 666 AU one with the creepy?
No. I loved that. I loved that video, and I thought it was really great. It looks really good, but like I don't know. Like
it's just like if you look at any documentaries, they always use these musics, you know, to kind of ramp up the emotions, and it's a really good trick, you know.
Then you know what you should do is instead, do you remember that video I sent you about the Chinese girls? Sounded bad. That one you should do one for. I want to repost that one. The dying room.
There's one problem.
That's what it would be for.
There's a problem that there's already music on. There's already music on the original tone. That's the problem. So you'd have to redo the narration.
Well, I can redo. Well, I had to. I'll redo it. I wanted to make it a little better anyway.
The music was shit on it anyway.
Well,
no, it's not your fault. I mean, obviously, you have to work with whatever
70s porn music. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like shit, you know.
No, I know, but no, like on something like that, it feels like it needs to be more sterile. But like some of my videos that I've done, when I'm focusing on like the foreign people, because it is more propaganda. Those are propaganda videos, but I tell people they're propaganda. I wouldn't mind doing music then. But like serious videos, I feel like that's too propaganda-y and I don't want to play their game. Or maybe I should play their game. I don't know.
I don't know. You should.
But I love your music, but you're telling me you just got demonetized. So like I need to.
That's different though, because Wait. That's not for my. I mean, in all fairness, I don't do 100% original content on most of my stuff that is on the Real Raven channel. A lot of it is parodies, and that's basically like a reimagined cover of a song. You know, it's like a cover of a song minus the lyrics. You know, so the main original thought about these is that somebody's writing new lyrics, like Modwain's song about free speech, right? It's a folk song based on the arrangement by what was the original musicians? Modwain.
The original I can't tell you, but we based it on the Dubliners. But the Dubliners,
the Dubliners,
didn't make it original.
So the arrangement was basically a blueprinted copy of their arrangement, you know, and that's what I usually do because I'm lazy. I don't want to kind of replay the whole. I want to replay the whole song from scratch. I use an original song as a template, and then I play everything by hand, and I might add I was a bit more adventurous in the last few months of my active career, where I would I have some where I'm quite proud of. We did a version of what's this name? Roger Jules. What's it called? Sad People. It was originally a Tears for Fears song. I'm trying to remember, but it was about the Trump derangement syndrome, and I had completely different kind of instrumentation, you know, and it sounded more like a Björk tune to my ears. So I like that, you know, kind of go across genres, you know. So, but if I'm making background music for a documentary or whatever, then that's going to be 100% original music, composed music, you know, where I invent everything, you know, or it's going to be classical based.
I want to redo that one, and because it was actually a question crap. Mm-hmm. One of the communists had asked me a question, so I would like to redo it, but not do it as answering the question. I want to go straight to the heart of it and show why population control is so dangerous.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that's why I want to redo it. And I can redo it and do it better. I can do a better job. I have to figure out though why my microphone is doing some weird crap lately. It keeps screwing up. I swear to God, I don't know what's wrong with it.
Maybe you need a new microphone.
No, it's not. No, I think what it is it's my computer. I'm pretty sure it's my computer. No, because that's a new microphone. So no, I don't need one.
Anyway, guys, I am sorry. I haven't seen your video, Ludicrous. Maybe I have, but I can't remember. But I am sorry. We are having a good talk. I am enjoying myself, but I have to wake up in about 7 hours from now. So sorry. This is where I'm going to call it quits.
Well, you gave the link to Suit yourself, so if he's still kind of alive a little bit later on, we could pick his brains offline on the YouTube thingy if he's interested.
Well, according to him, he is sure the link works, but he hasn't clicked it, so I don't think he's coming.
Well, you know, he could come to the offline portion a little bit later if he wanted.
If he wanted, he's more than welcome. But nonetheless, old man is tired, so I need to call it quits. I hope it's okay with you guys, especially you, Elicia, because basically this is my stream, but this is kind of your stream too.
Yeah, no, I gotta make dinner for the kids.
Jesus, everybody has a life. That's terrible. Am I the only one without one?
Well, I didn't want to say it, but
All right, so I guess that's everybody go and sign up for my new channel. Go to Toxic Threads. Don't delay. We gotta beat Modwain in 1 week.
Well, I know. I have no problem admitting that I don't have. Well, that's not true. I do have long hair. And I have a beautiful face, but I have some of the hair in my face, so that's
my best feature, Santa Claus.
I have the coolest of beards. I mean, I know there's a YouTuber called the Beard Barian, and I do like the dude, and he doesn't really know me, but I know him a little bit. but what he has isn't a beard. I mean,
that's just LARPing. He's just LARPing a beard.
He's just LARPing a beard. I mean, if the wind would blow really hard, his beard would be gone. Then I'd have a beard. And even my beard isn't that big. It's only like, what, 10 centimeters? So it's not that big.
So you go to bed and you give your microphone to Sun, and then me, Sun, and Siut will have a chat then.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If I'm going to bed, there is quite a huge chance that Sun will go to bed too.
Yeah,
And we tend to go to bed.
You're breaking my heart. What's with the 7 hour? What happened with the 7 hour streams?
Oh God.
Well, I never did 7 hour streams. That only happened once because I turned on.
That's why your channel is so small. You see, you need to do the Andy Worski thing.
Tell you what.
Oh, that's what we need to do. We need to have like somebody on that's controversial. That's it.
Tell you what, Raven.
What are you saying?
Let's somehow magically make my kid sleep to 12 o'clock, and that he doesn't want to eat at 7 o'clock and doesn't want my attention.
Yeah.
And I can say,
make him some poppy soup.
what's poppy soup?
You know, poppies. You know, you can make opium from it.
It's too late for me.
She seriously didn't know what you meant with that one, so that was funny.
Yeah, because I wasn't thinking you would that going. Oh, that's okay. No.
Okay. I thought there was the usual thing in Holland.
No. But anyway, I have a long day tomorrow because if all things go well, I'm going to sell my current car and I'm going to buy a new car tomorrow.
Oh.
If I'm
What
lucky.
you getting?
A Volkswagen Sharon.
All right.
Automatic, because my leg is unfortunately my right leg isn't working that well anymore, so stick shift is going to be really difficult for me. But that's real life, so let's not bother with each other with that.
It's depressing.
Yeah, it is in a way. And I have to admit, because there's a guy who wants to buy the car and he wanted to come Sunday, and I said no. Okay, can I come Monday then? And I'm like, no, you can come Thursday because I have to go to work and I have to go to work by car. If I would have sold the car on Monday, I would have bought the new car on Monday already. So that's bullshit. But I kind of don't want to get rid of my old car. I still like
the
it.
dude was like, do you really want to sell the car?
So, but yeah, I have to do it.
Makes it hard to sell.
It does. It really does. Anyway, everyone, subscribe to Toxic Threads. I'm not even going to let her do the saying now. I'm going to say it. Do it. You want it. Do it. Do it. No, I'm not going to shout. And subscribe to Real Raven if you haven't done already. Oh, subscribe to... Well, yeah, you're already here, so you probably have subscribed to me. Anything else anyone want to say?
Talk hard. Yeah, talk hard. That's it. Talk hard.
That case, Nick, you did
Spike
a great
the
job
punch.
with that video. I like the fact that you put a little photo of Elicia in the back. That was really cool. And it was a really funny video. So people who haven't seen it and looking back to the stream, how the hell can you be here in the stream and not have seen Nick's video? Other than that, thank you all for coming. And this is the moment where I'm going to push the button stop broadcasting.